Hello community, I hope you are doing good. In this discussion we will see how to make required field based on the condition, and in case you missed previous discussion about how to make invisible field based on the condition, please check, link is given in the description. If you want to learn more about Odoo, you can visit the Weblands channel. Under the home screen you can see Odoo 17 and 18 development tutorial, and right now we are working on this playlist. If you are a beginner and want to learn from the beginning, you can visit this playlist because this is the main playlist and those are the subtopic wise playlist available. Alright, and guys, if you didn't subscribe this channel, please subscribe. It will help me a lot, plus you will also get the latest notification about upcoming sessions. So let me go to here in the main topic, how we can make it as a required field, right? So in the school profile, let's say based on the conditions I want to make it some field as a required field, then how I can do it. So if you remember guys, in the field level tutorial I already explained one attribute which is the required, right? Now that required attribute we are trying to extend with the multiple conditions, and we will also see how you can also migrate from older version to the newer versions, specifically the views. Okay, so we already talked about the read-only and the invisible, right? Now let's talk about the required field. So let me use here. Okay, so here let's say the amount and this field I want to make it as a required field based on the condition. So how I can do it? So the first thing is I'm using here required equal to 1, right? So this is my first condition. 1 is the true and 0 is the false. So false means it's not required and 1 means it's a required. So let's test it out. So for that I'm trying to upgrade the module. So if you don't know how to configure Odoo in PyCharm, please check editor level playlist. I already explained everything. So here let me refresh the screen, and let's say if I'm trying to add, let's say 1 2 3, you can see this field is required, right? And I didn't mention here any value, and once I'm trying to save, it says field required, right? But let's say if I'm trying to add here that specific value, then it's fine. Then it's rising the error message, correct? If you are using older versions, I mean version 16 or the lower version, on that case we have to implement Attrs. So here we have to provide required colon, right? So based on the condition we have to use always Attrs. Yeah, this one is also available in the older versions, this required attribute, right? There is no difference, but I will show you the same conditions, right? The same conditions we can also use inside this attribute, but in a older version we have to use like this for the required. Okay, so for that, and let's say if I'm trying to upgrade this module using this Attrs, then you can see here I'm getting one error message. So that is like, since Odoo 17 Attrs and stats attributes are no longer used, so that means we don't need to use this one. Instead we have to use a required, and here we have to directly use amount equal to 0. Okay, and let's say I'm trying to upgrade the module. Now you can see it will successfully upgrade the module. Okay, now let me go to front end side and refresh the screen, and now you can see I can blank this record, right? Save it. It's work fine. Why? Because you can see amount is 11, But let's say if I will change as a 0, right now this field is mandatory. Once I will click to this save button, you can see invalid field, reference field. We must have to fill anyhow. Okay, so that is the main purpose here. What about the multiple conditions, right? So here multiple conditions means you can also add here like or, then after name equal to let's say WebLance. That's it. And this is our multiple conditions, and let me upgrade the module. And once I will refresh the screen, right? Now let's say if I'm adding here 9, and here I'm trying to blank this field, right? So now I can able to update as a blank. But let's say if I will try to change WebLance as a like this and trying to save, so it means I'm not able to save it. Why? Because here I have mentioned multi conditions. Either amount is 0 or the name is WebLance, then this field is required. But here you can see, if I will change WebLance as a W as a capital, right, then I can easily save it. Why? Because this is not exact match here. Okay. Another thing is, if you are trying to use 0 or let's say -1, then I'm trying to save it will automatically save. Why? Because there is no any conditions I have applied here less than equal to. I have mentioned equal to, right? So once I added here 0, now you can see. So now this field is marked as a required field. Okay. So here you have to remember one thing. If you are working in older version, then you have to use Attrs. If you are working from 17 or the latest version, then you have to use required. Okay. I hope you understood about this topic, specifically this view modification, dynamic modification based on the condition. So if you still have any doubt related to this topic, please comment below and see you in our next session.